Shalom, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What You Thinking, thought-provoking Bible study topics that no one else will ever deal with because, well, they ain't me. Yours truly, Brother V, SENT.
What you thinking? The devil's a liar. If you're thinking there's no lake of fire and brimstone, you heard a liar. A strong delusion is coming your way. By Yahweh.
Now, this topic is going to be one of my all-time favorites. The Happy Hollowdays. I'm the only one that said that. I coined that first. The Happy Hollowdays. Hollow. Recognize the word? The Hollowdays season, indulged in as the holidays. Holly sounds more like hollow than holy, and it is very much so more hollow than holy. The holidays, supposedly the happiest time of the year, when in fact it is the most miserable time of the year for countless families. Why care? The answer to that question is how can you not? With Yah's, God, love has filled your heart, you should tend to what's most important, not vanity, but to the concern of your fellow person, children of God. But during this time of the year, the hollow days, season, empty, vain, shallow, all in the name of the coined holiday season. Not Yah, not his son Yeshua, but to the commissioner of this multi-billion-dollar holidays season. What am up? Not holly or holy, because there is nothing holy or whole about these days. You have to think very objective to get my point. Now, in this present conscious of society, we are influenced to think subjectively, emotionally, equating to tolerance of foolishness. Self rebuttal. Sure, a lot of good occurs during this period. Family gatherings, church, charity, kindness, sharing. Now, if you think objectively, each of those coins can be flipped over. First up, Happy Pranksgiving Day. Then we'll do Christmas, and then I'll do Halloween, and then Easter. I'll do Halloween third because it's the pinnacle of Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's the gateway of all the hollow days, Halloween. Okay, let's go. Happy Pranksgiving Day is more so in actuality, in name, than Thanksgiving Day, just as our Native American citizenry as to the validity of that statement. Because what happened after that first Thanksgiving, those people would not be thankful for what came upon their people and homeland. Notice, I am speaking as I am full in heart, not empty, not about my new car for Christmas. That's hollow. When the pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock, they needed help. They didn't have any idea about agriculture or how to survive on this land. That had to be taught by the Native Americans. And you know what happened after they became secure and knowledgeable and could survive? They gifted the Native Americans with smallpox infected blankets as a gift and killed thousands and thousands and countless of thousands of Native Americans. Smallpox was 10 times more contagious than COVID, and you didn't have to be near anyone to breathe in droplets. Smallpox, after one is infected, can very easily give it to someone else and spread to someone else. Now, today, Thanksgiving is a symbol to be thankful for our lives and what we have and our family. And that's covered up the truth about Thanksgiving because what happened in Thanksgiving was a taking of a land and a genocide of a people. Is not for everyone. The Native Americans have nothing to be thankful for that day. 'Tis the season to be hollow. Christmas Day. Here we are. A day to wait on Jesus, Yeshua, or Satan's claws, Santa Claus. Now, Santa Claus is an anagram because all you need to do is move the N to the end and you have Satan. And for claws, look at the single U, change to double U. Satan's claws. Kind of close to be just a coincidence. It just works out that way. And actually no one has to purpose purposely do this. It just turns out that way. If you go back for enough in years, publication of Webster's Dictionary, the definition of Old Saint Nick is the devil in plain English. I was in middle school about 45 years ago. I looked up Old Saint Nick in the dictionary, and the first definition was the devil. I can't remember if Santa was a secondary definition, just as innocent child, not looking for controversy, excited about Christmas, and I often use the dictionary like some carry their Bible. Now, Santa Claus, he evolved from old Saint Nick, who was a real life saint, Saint Nicholas, and he evolved into Santa Claus. It's very easy to look up, and I don't have the um, research on Saint Nicholas to see why he was termed the devil. He was a saint. He was well respected and loved. He started the tradition of the gifts, and he evolved to Santa Claus. Saint Nicholas, or Chris Kringle, who actually walked the earth in the 3rd century. He was the patron saint of children. Santa Claus derived from his Dutch name Sinter, Sinter, Claus, Klaas. Gift giving, mainly centered around children, has been an important part of the Christmas celebration since the holiday's rejuvenation in the early 19th century. Stores began to advertise Christmas shopping in 1820, and by the 1840s, newspapers were creating separate sections for holiday advertisements, which often featured images of the newly popular Santa Claus. In 1841, thousands of children visited a Philadelphia shop to see a live size Santa Claus model. It was only a matter of time before stores began to attract children and their parents with the lure of a peek at a live Santa Claus. In the early 1890s, the Salvation Army needed money to pay for the free Christmas meals they provided to needy families. Perhaps the most iconic department store Santa is Kris Kringle in the 1947 classic Santa Claus movie, Miracle on 34th Street. And it's much more to look up. And then you got the history of the Christmas tree, and then the decorations, and then the reindeer, and why they come from the North Pole. It is so much over couple hundred years. Was this 1840s? 150 years. It is so much to look up and read about. And like I told you, this program, I'm not going to go through the entire history of and Santa Claus and all the detail. It would take hours and hours and hours and days. Is so many details. But there it is in a nutshell what Christmas is all about and Santa Claus, which includes nothing about the birth of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. Over the years, it grew to become a commercial powerhouse. The day where you make so much money and draw so many people into the churches, all for just vanity. Because here you have a false claim as Jesus is the reason for the season. And that makes it vain because no one is thinking about Jesus. They're thinking about what they're going to get under that tree for Christmas. That's the truth. So, Hollowdays, one of the definitions is untrue, a sham, because it's not the whole truth. The reasonings behind it, the cause behind it, it's just untrue. And that's what makes it hollow. Like the claim that it's the happiest time of the year? Are you kidding? Because there's so many people that can't afford a tree, can't afford a present, living outside, no home, no money, no nothing. And it all comes to light around Christmas time. Because all those who have materials and can go shopping and is fortunate, that's their holiday. Those are the ones that really enjoy the holiday. Sure, there's charity, but who wants charity? People want their own. It makes people feel good that they can get gifts, and there's charity, uh, organizations catering the needs of the needy. It seems to be a very beautiful thing. But that's what's hollow about it. It seems good in one situation, in one perspective, but it's so much more tragedy that's not considered. Now let's take a look at the actual birth date of Christ. Luke 1 26, 27, 26. And in the sixth month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto a city of Galilee named Nazareth. 27. To a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. Luke 1:36. And the angel answered and said unto her, The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, and the power of the highest shall overshadow thee. Therefore also that holy thing which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God. And behold, thy cousin Elizabeth, she has also conceived a son in her old age. And this is the 6th month with her, who was called barren. So let's look at this. Without using Elizabeth 6 months at the time that Mary was pregnant with Yeshua, we can just go from the 6th month. The first month is April. That brings us about September, October. So let's go 9 months from September, October, which is going to place us about June. Now, there are other estimates that places birth during the Feast of Tabernacles, which is October, September. Now, this occurrence could be a result of, in those days, they always wanted to place divine people's birth with their conception. I don't know that they're trying to pull off 12-month pregnancies. But yeah, that's what I read. They usually like to place uh, the conception date with the birthday. Very similar. Now, Luke 1:56 and 57. And Mary abode with her about 3 months and returned to her house. Now, Elizabeth was 6 months pregnant at the time, and Mary stayed with her for 3 months. 57. Now, Elizabeth's full time came that she should be delivered. See, 3 months, that was 9 months. So that was her delivery date. And she brought forth a son, which was John. Now, when I read this, I was saying, why did Mary stay with her until John was born? Because Elizabeth was 6 months pregnant and she stayed with her for 3 months. She left right before John was born. I just noticed that. Why did she do that? She could that now that don't make any sense. You know how your home girl, her cousin at that, gonna leave just before she was born. I didn't read that the Lord told her to leave at that time. That didn't make sense. But you go on with the most important out of the Bible and the Word. You have to let the Holy Ghost lead you and look at the most important facts. That the months that Mary conceived, 9 months after that, which places the birth about June. All the other details can just confuse you. Look at what's most important and not what's hollow. Speaking of hollow, now I couldn't find a definition in my Strongs for hollow, but I picked a synonym that means the same thing, vain. Now I have a few references from the very reputable Strong's Concordance. Now, vain, Hebrew 8266, shakar, be untrue, deal falsely. 8267, Hebrew, shikar, sham, without cause, deceit, false. See how very close this is to hollow. Exactly. In the Greek, 2756, kenos, empty, vain. Bingo. Now, speaking of hollow and vain, we're about to go into the most hollow, which is Halloween. How Hallows Eve became Halloween, October 31st. Originally, the Samhain Fire Festival, from the Celtic and Druid early centuries history, October 31st is Hallows Eve Day. November 1st is All Hallows Day, and the beginning of a 3 day fire festival. Pope Boniface created All Saints' Day for November 1st, May 13th, year 609. Have exactly the date and year. In modern day history, for instance, in 2018, Las Vegas, first October event concert where people were killed, shot to death. And then actually the concert took place the night of September the 30th at night, and it went into October 1st. They call it 1 October, but in fact, it happened and was ended before October 1st, was September the 3rd, the 30th, where people were killed by this shooter that was shooting out Mandalay Bay. Okay. October 5th, 2021, in the Astro World concert, where reported 10 people were killed in the event. This is a harvesting of souls and in actually creating disasters that will be commemorated yearly. And look when it took place in October, the season of harvesting innocent, unknowing souls. It's also part of the All Saints Day, Samhain, and the Spanish and Latino Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, when they're dead to be recognized or commemorated. And this celebration is huge in Mexico. They have the very huge celebrations, and in America. Eventually, All Hallows Eve evolved into Halloween, becoming more popular in secular culture than All Saints' Day. The pagan turned Christian practices of dressing up in costumes, playing pranks, and handing out offerings have evolved into popular traditions even for those who may not believe in otherworldly spirits or saints. And in modern times, like in Mexico and in America, they use this day to commemorate their special people that they admired, their family, to commune with them. But to me, you open up portals, and not only do you commune with who you wish to, you also open portals, and spiritual entities come through these portals. Well, Easter sunrise, y'all. Get to something more bright instead of so dark. Ooh. Easter sunrise. The rise of the sun, Yeshua, or the gods to celebrate a pagan deity named Ostera in ancient tradition, Rome. Easter first started out as a celebration of the spring equinox, a time when the sun is resurrected from the death of winter and nature's cycle of rebirth begins. Anglo Saxon pagans celebrated this time of rebirth by invoking Eostre or Ostara, the goddess of spring, the dawn, and fertility, sex, freaky. So realize everything that you celebrate on Easter is built on these pagan traditions. Hebrews did not celebrate resurrection in this manner. Now, it was the Romans that created Lent, which is 40 days prior to Resurrection Day. And on this day is Easter, where they get freaky because of Lent, and they had to restrain from sex, orgies, any vices. So the day after Lent, which happened to be Resurrection Day, these people got freaky. Now let's look into the Easter egg hunt. You know, originally, that lady there that in the previous picture, that's what they used to hunt. Those were the eggs that they hunted. Now let's look at the history of the Easter egg hunt. Although its roots aren't totally clear, it's widely believed that egg hunts date back to the 1700s when the Pennsylvania Dutch believed in an egg laying hare called Osterhals or Osterhays, which is a play on Ostara. Christianity slowly began its transition as the popular religion in Rome and thus around the world. Under the Emperor Constantine, 306 337 AD, Constantine converted from paganism to Christianity. On the outside, he still was a pagan, and other pagans hid the traditions under this Christianity, and finally brought an end to the persecution of Christians. Before that time, the majority of Romans were pagan, still were pagan, and held fast to their old traditions and continued teachings and rituals inside these new Christian holidays. They think somebody's an idiot. Yes. Constantine the Great, as well as the Roman leaders after him, knew it would be a challenge to get everyone to convert to Christianity overnight. This. This is why all the newly Roman created holidays, holy days, like Lent, Romans created that. They put their holidays on top of other pagan holidays that have been celebrated for 1500 years. So it's easier for these pagans just to trade over to the new Christianity because their holidays are on the same day. So that would make it easy for them to convert. Just like today in 2022, these holidays are placed over pagan traditional holidays and you don't know about it. And all the elements and paganism like the Easter egg, the Christmas tree, all these elements in these hollow days, pagan traditions are still there, just hidden on top of the newly modern holidays, which is most different than the ancient way of celebrating these holidays. We celebrate these holidays very much different, but the pagan artifacts is still there. These days are termed holidays just because of the shallowness and the untrueness and the guise and the convertedness of the Hollowdays. Well, that's it, y'all. I've done my thing. And now it's up to you to praise Yeshua, our Mashiach. Continue to study. It's way more details about these holidays that I haven't even scratched the deeper surface. And it's up to you to continue to study. I ain't doing all that studying for y'all. Y'all can study on your own. I gave you the main parts. I gave you leads to study, enough to pique your interest. The rest is up to you all. That's how I do it. Brother Vicent, I love you and have a peaceful life.
What you thinking? The devil's a liar. If you're thinking there's no lake of fire and brimstone, you heard a liar. A strong delusion is coming your way. By Yahweh, the one that brought us out of the land of slavery. Split the Red Sea, fed us manna in the desert, and bread unleavened. Then Jesus, the true bread from heaven. What you thinking? Giving up your freedom in Christ, believing his lies. What you thinking? What you that was a liar. Your faith is sealed away from the great day of the Lord. Be here and your faith got sealed to participate at the wedding supper of the bridegroom. He's coming soon. Certainly. The devil's a liar. Certainly. He ain't giving you the world, just hellfire. He's also a cheat, murderer, and a thief. Yet you trust him. What you thinking? What you thinking? Suicide on your mind, that's about right. With Satan on your side, 'cause he don't mean you no good. What you thinking? I say lovingly, is you gonna say, then lovingly, are you? What you thinking? Out your brain.